What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're breaking down one of the biggest matches of the FIFA World Cup quarterfinals as France take on Morocco. As always, if you enjoy these videos and want daily World Cup betting content, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and let me know your favorite play in the comments below. Let's get right into it. So this is a very fascinating matchup because I think these are two of the best teams remaining in this tournament. France came into this World Cup as one of the favorites to lift the trophy, and they've largely lived up to those expectations. In fact, I'd say they might have even surpassed the expectations that have been set down for them. They have elite attacking talent, plenty of experience in big matches, and they've consistently found ways to score goals throughout this tournament. On the other side is Morocco, who continue to prove people wrong. They simply refuse to lose football matches. People expect them to take a step back. People keep expecting them to maybe have a stumble, and they have continuously proven they are one of the top teams in the world. So that naturally makes this a pretty difficult game to predict. When I first started looking at this match, I wanted to see which side I would think has a better chance of moving forward and who I think has value. And the more I looked at it, the more I realized that I do not really want to pick a side in this matchup. I think these are two very good teams. France have won 13 out of their last 15 matches now. If you guys look at the odds, currently France are minus 350 to qualify for the semifinal. They're minus 165 on the money line to win in 90 minutes. So they're pretty heavy favorites. The market's saying they're going to win this game about 60% of the time, give or take a few percentages. But I don't know if we should be favoring them that much. And that's the hard part, is that France have won 13 of their last 15. They've looked extremely dominant in this World Cup. But we got to look at Morocco. Morocco are the African champions. They won the AFCON with some controversy, but they won it. And they haven't lost in any of their last 34 matches. This is a team that does not lose games. 34 matches since they've lost a game. You have to go back all the way to, we are going way back. We are going back to August 10th of 2025, over a year ago, when they lost to Kenya 1-0. And that was in the African Nations Championship. So who knows how seriously they were even taking that game. But point is, you know, they've played a lot of good teams between now and then, and they haven't lost any of those games. Okay, so they are a team that's very difficult to beat. They have, in that stretch, I mean, remember, they tied Brazil earlier in this World Cup. They tied Netherlands earlier in this World Cup. I mean, they dominated Canada. That was a very impressive performance. So overall, I think Morocco are a very difficult team to defeat. And that is why I am not picking a side here. I think that these are two top teams. I think that, look, when you look at this, you have France, who have won 13 of their last 15. One team almost always wins. That's France. And then you've got Morocco, who have not lost in their last 34 matches. So that's a team that almost never loses. So you have a team that almost never, or you have a team that almost always wins up against a team that almost never loses. For me, if you're picking a side here, you're flirting with some danger. I do not think there's a clear road or a clear, I don't see clearly how you could pick either side to win here unless you just, I mean, France obviously are just better. So, you know, you could just go France money line, or you could just go France to qualify. But when I see something like this, I don't want to force a money line bet. I think that going elsewhere is the smartest decision. And so that's why I've landed here. I've landed on the over. I mean, France are deserved favorites. The market expects them to advance. The total is sitting at 2.5 goals. The sportsbook actually leans towards the under, while the over is sitting at plus money. As you can see, the over 2.5 is at plus 106. And that is very interesting to me. My official pick for this game, my best bet, is the over 2.5 goals at plus 106 for a unit. France have been one of the best over teams in international football in recent history. Think about this. This is a very important trend that I'm about to say. France, in their last 15 games, have gone over the total 13 times, the over the 2.5 total. So if we're setting a total at 2.5 for their last 15 games, they've gone over that total 13 times. That's a pretty damn good trend. Now, Morocco are much closer to even on this trend. They are 7-8 to the over of 2.5. So I think that France dictates the style. I think France dictates the pace of this match. I think they're going to dominate the possession. I think France will create plenty of chances. I think they will keep attacking. I think they will try to get the second goal once they get that first goal. And I think once France gets that first goal, Morocco are going to have to open up themselves, and we're going to get a back and forth end-to-end game. I can see a few different game scripts where this over 2.5 cashes out. If France score early, which is what we've just outlined, Morocco will have to become more aggressive. They will have to open up, and it will become a back and forth end-to-end game. They're not just going to sit back and accept being eliminated. So that will create more space for France to go the other direction. Now, if Morocco score first, and if they can score early, then France, one of the most dangerous teams in the world, will be able to create chances. They will probably push more numbers forward. And either way, if there's an early goal in this game, I love the over, basically. We just need a goal in the first half, and I think we're going over this total. Even if it's level late in the match, I think that if we see a late goal, similarly how to see if we see an early goal, if we see a late goal, I think both teams will start pushing again. If it's 1-0 late, if it's 2-1 late, although 2-1 would already cash. But let's address the concerns here. I understand why some bettors like this under. It's a World Cup quarterfinal. Both teams are very, very strong defensively. Neither team wants to make a big mistake. These are all valid reasons why the under makes sense. But I also think the market has already accounted for all of those factors. That's why you're seeing the under 2.5 at minus 120 compared to the over at plus 106. When I can get plus money on a total involving a French team that consistently creates scoring chances, I'm willing to take this shot. I think Morocco will score at least one goal. So if I think Morocco are able to get one goal in this game, I don't think it's going to end 1-1. I think we see a 2-1 France win most likely, maybe a 3-1 France win, maybe 3-2 if it gets crazy. But I don't see – the only way I see us losing is if it's 1-0 or 2-0 France. I mean, maybe 1-1, but I think Morocco score a goal in this game. So I always talk about trying to bet numbers instead of names. If this game were priced at over 2.5 minus 120, I probably would not be placing this bet. But at plus 106, I think there is extra value here. I'm not saying it's a huge edge. I'm not saying it's a lock. I simply think this number should be closer to even money. So when I think I'm getting a better price than the true probability, that's the type of bet I like making. My prediction for the match is France advancing, but I think Morocco absolutely make them earn it. My score prediction is going to be 2-1 France win in 90 minutes. That would get us over the total, and it would be a very entertaining quarterfinal. So my official pick, France versus Morocco, over 2.5 goals, plus 106 for one unit. Those are my thoughts on the game. If you enjoyed this breakdown, please leave a like on the video. It really helps the channel grow. Subscribe if you're new, because I have picks. I've got previews for every World Cup match going forward. I also like to do picks for the upcoming Wimbledon. We've got some finals coming up in Wimbledon. We've got some semifinals coming up. And Also, let me know in the comments, who do you think advances to the semifinals and what's your favorite bet in this match? All right, guys, good luck with your tailing. Enjoy the football, and I will see you in the next one.